7 rounds completed of the regular season and 3 rounds remain. All of these 7 rounds have had themselves 7 very, very incredible races at the top, 7 incredible races in the middle, and 5 very incredible races down at the bottom. But one thing is important to keep in mind, and that is that drop rounds are now in play. The last 3 rounds is about your 7 best finishes in the Simify MX5 World Sim Series, and the race to get into the top 40 condenses at its first port of call of 3 here at Rudskogen Motor Center. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody watching around the world. My name is Jake Sperry. Alongside me in the commentary booth for this one is Joey Atterbury, with Ryan Bauer in the director's chair using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But Rudskogen Motor Center doesn't stand out in terms of one of the premier circuits in terms of what motor racing has become, but it is fastly becoming one of those circuits that just has a little bit of everything. Let's get a further understanding of it with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Rudskogen Motor Center. Located about an hour and a half south of Norway's capital of Oslo, the southerly placement allows for a much longer racing season than you'd expect in a Scandinavian country. At just over 2 miles, or 3¼ kilometers in length, the 14-turn track makes for a perfect lower to mid-level racing circuit. A nice amount of elevation change and some truly picturesque scenery makes it not hard on the eyes for fans, but retains a delicious amount of challenges for drivers. There's of course the obvious places for passes, such as into the sharp chicane of turns 1 and 2. But in spite of the long downhill stretch into 3, it's way too fast of a corner to try and overtake unless you're seriously brave. 7 and 8 include a frustrating triple apex sequence that rises, drops, and then rises again, all within what effectively becomes a single corner. There's also the tricky combination of 13 swift entry, then a seemingly never-ending final right-hander to dump you onto the main straight. With it being part of iRacing's base content, drivers are likely to get plenty familiar with this track, and they'll need to thanks to the very technical layout. But overall, it's easy to see why this is a popular destination for all Norwegian motorsports fans.
Well, that is Rudskogen Motor Center, which started out just as a smaller circuit, transitioning into the circuit that we have today. And it's that development of Norwegian racing that we're starting to see. A place which for 3 months of the year, you could even argue 4 or 5 months of the year, Joey, is completely unusable. But when you get to the scenario that you've got here, where you can race it here on iRacing, 12 months round, this is a fantastic place to cut your teeth to begin with.
I just got off the virtual airplane in Norway, and you're right, it is a fantastic little track. You look at the layout, it seems pretty big, but you're right, it is relatively small. 2 miles, 14 turns, just a tick over 3.25 kilometers in length. A couple nice passing opportunities, primarily with turn 1 at the bottom left of your screen there after one of the longest straightaways, but really, the feel of this place, I think it fits the MX5 cars perfectly. Slower to medium speed corners, which usually yields a more technical racetrack, which is perfect for the series. You have to understand the car, understand what's underneath you, and take advantage of the performance given.
Yeah, and that performance is going to be crucial. There's a lot of elevation change around this circuit, and it really does challenge every facet. Now, the differences that you're going to see here today is that these drivers are in splits. This is second division. First division comes up after this one. This race and all races will be 25 minutes. It's a fixed setup. In this Division 2 race, iRacing's baseline in terms of racing is going to be with the MX5 series that they've got. It's the advanced MX5 series that provides setup for division number 1. So there's a difference in terms of how the car is set up. But as with this series, a spare car is available anytime you want it. They've stacked them up infinite there in the back, Joey, which means anybody who runs into trouble has a way to get back in the race.
Yeah, you can get back in the race. That's what it's all about, is learning and improving as a driver, especially in these other divisions. We're going to get to that Fast Division 1 later, but yeah, it's just everybody's on the same equipment out there. You have to understand the car underneath you and take advantage of it, like I was saying.
Absolutely. And of course, the racing here is brought to you by your title sponsor, which is Simify. They have been the title sponsor for the MX5 World Sim Series since round 3 of the championship, all the way back earlier on, about half a year ago. Simify is an online web shop housing a vast array of sim racing essentials for the next step in your virtual career. From steering wheels, seats, and handbrakes to even the common sim racing glove, Simify ships worldwide and is available to be seen both in English y en español. Use discount code MX5WSS at checkout to receive a discount on your sim racing purchase by visiting www.simify.com today. We are in the throes of Division 2 qualifying, and there are 6 drivers inside the top 40, Joey, who find themselves in Division 2, so will score outside of the top 40 points tonight. That's going to be crucial for those drivers because they now have to play damage limitation, maximize everything they possibly can. Here is Anton Simeonov, the number 80 car, coming around then the final corner. Ronald Moans goes even quicker and it's half a second clear. Jacqueline moves second quickest, and Simeonov puts a 36.8 down to go 13th fastest.
Well, and you called it. You got to grab the points when you can. And of those drivers, like you said, damage limitation, maybe a little bit. And we see, 40 plus cars on the racetrack. It's going to be busy today.
It's going to be so busy, and you know that run through turn 1 and 2, very similar to that the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, for example, just a little bit more elongated, is going to be a crunch point and a bottleneck on the opening lap, considering how long it is they go through. Tim Brink, the independent driver, has to drive with the help of a physio to make sure he gets around the laps, and he's putting in all that effort. Had himself an absolutely fantastic qualifying, Joey. In pre-qualifying, he was only a second off of finding his way into top split, which I think is an incredible showcase of his pace.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do here in this specific qualifying section, as looks like Jamison Sampaio jumps to the top. Provisional pole right now for the number 21 as Tim Brink rounds the final couple corners, should be putting a lap time down here in the matter of the next few seconds.
Yeah, and a crucial lap it will be over the line, 138.4 for Tim, so does improve there and goes 29th fastest. Now, Jamison Sampaio here has just been knocked off the top because Ronald Moans, once again, owner of Virtual Bell Car, has found himself on top by half a tenth of a second. It's these two at the top, 17 and 21 in the championship. Jamison Sampaio, of course, the father of the young Enzo Sampaio, who's been a race winner this season, but he's now going to have to try and prove that he's got enough pace as he goes forward on it. The only 2 drivers in the 34s at the moment.
Well, and the entire field is really stacked together. You mentioned only a couple drivers in the 34s, but you look at how close everybody else is. It's within hundredths of a second from Nicholas Norwood all the way down. Geez, Jake, you could go all the way down to 12th, 13th place before it really starts to spread out.
Oh, you really could, and that is Klearchos Duvantzis there in the number 150 car. New starter then for this is just going to be getting some sighters in the second half of this season, knowing that there are 2 championships that will be fought next year in 2024, Joey, with 2 minutes remaining on the clock, as that is a brilliant 34.5. Absolute perfection from Jamison Sampaio. Over the course of that lap, Victor Oliveira for Positive Delta now out there trying to set a lap time. But with those 2 championships next year, you've got the base championship, the club style championship, which will run exactly the same calendar as it has done this season. Those will book as a free championship 10 places in on the very, very top, or the back end of the grid when they get to the world final. You also have, of course, the version where they're going to go all around everywhere possible, which will say top 40 book their place at the world final at Laguna Seca.
It's just a wonderful kind of ladder of series. It doesn't matter if you're really just kind of starting off trying to be more competitive, or if you are already just trying to fine tune and hone in your racecraft skills. I feel like these MX5 cars and this series specifically, all the different ones that they can offer you a place to race.
36.9 then for Oliveira goes up to 22nd fastest. Jameson Sampaio still has 1 lap to improve the time if he should so choose it. At this point, trying to really rag on the car into this brilliant ending of the lap. The long flowing right-hander, about 270 plus degrees, always going to be churning away on those outside left-hand side tires, making that push over towards the line. Sampaio will look to see if he can improve even more than that. He can with a 34.3 flat. He's half a second clear of the field, and that is simply incredible and goes to prove why free quali is so important.
He's really putting his foot down right now as qualifying will be coming to an end. But you look at the gap that he has over Ronald Moons over there, half a second, in fact, over half a second to second place.
Over half a second. Then let's take ourselves then through the starting grid as they will all stack up. It is going to be Jameson Sampaio on the pole position with Ronald Moans alongside for company. Nicholas Norwood and Carl Jacquelet will be 3rd and 4th. Norwood 48th in the championship. Big chance for him. But Patrick Alders 5th and Matt Tempest in 6th position. Keep an eye on them with Roger Morton 7th and Carl Wincott in 8th position. Row 5 houses Willem van Rassel and Pedro Maremot 35th in the championship.
Then we have James Austin in 11th, Connor Hope in 12th, Clerchus Dovensis here in 13th, Peter Reed in 14th, Alif Imran 15th, Callie Rantanen in 16th, Martin Smith 17th, Amanolu Bacchus in 18th, Melvin Tajin in 19th, and Anton Simeonov in 20th.
Well, if anyone's going to make some progress, it will be Melvin Tyne. Brett Ride and Victor Oliveira house row 11 with Michael Tanagretta and Alvaro Rodriguez. Rory Wetherington and Timo Paya will house row 13 with Mackenzie Mann 27th and Johan van Vinden in 28th position. Andy Littler starts 29th and he'll have Bill Jenkins for company.
31st is Tim Brink. David Getty's lined up next to him. Lewis Benny in 33rd. Jason Guerrara in 34th. Stephen Edler and Arturo Davila here in 36th. Sir Alan Toon in 37th. Shane Pettengill, 38th. Tyler Emery, 39th. A couple more here. 44th, Stephen Oro, Bruno Albino, David Mitchell.
And we got ourselves then a very, very quick green flag, and it looks like someone stalled on the start, and there's already been huge contacts gone through. Simeonov's been caught up in it, and I don't think the likes of those drivers will be too pleased off of what has happened there. The likes then of Matt Tempest, it was, who never got going off the start, who was not ready for the green flag to go, has brought a lot of trouble in. Jameson Sampaio clear at the front. Jacquelet has jumped up into second, and good start from Roger Morton. He's made some good progress off of this opening lap as they descend into 3 and 4.
I'm counting almost 10 cars involved, and I'm seeing more cars go spinning off as we're headed down the hill in the first time. That's going to be a common point going down the hill into that big compression.
Patrick Alders was caught up in it, so too James Austin was in that one then on the opening lap there in through turn 4. So that could very easily be those drivers looking around going, that's not how we wanted. They've got 25 minutes, so aggression, the better part of valor. Someone else there spinning off then at turn 7 and 8 up the top of the plateau. And now as they fight down the hill, back up the hairpin then around turn 10. This is where the last sector of the lap becomes crucial. Small flick of 11, big 90-degree left here of turn 12, and then you got 13 and 14 that ends the lap. It is a clear, good start then for Jameson Sampaio. Carl Jacquelet in second, Ronald Moans in third, and Roger Morton now up into 4th position and doing an incredible job in terms of his movements. Pedro Maremon up 5 as well off the start. This has been some really good starts by drivers who were able to avoid the chaos of Matt Tempest not going.
Yeah, there's been some big-time losers in the first lap. I'm looking, Carl Wincup has dropped down several positions. Also, what happened to Patrick Alders on that start? He was all the way up, started 5th, and now he's back in 19th.
Yeah, and that was down to the fact that he got caught up at turn 4. There's more dramas then at the opening corner. It looks like Carl Wincop's gone around. Andy Littler as well has been caught up in it. So everybody is struggling on these opening laps. Look, there's the Dirigo car going through in the Dairy Scary Racing Machine. Everybody is struggling here at Rudskogen Motor Centre.
I think the one thing to take away is the front pack is actually nice and tight up here. It's still currently Jameson Sampaio leading Carl Jacquelet, Ronald Moons in that third place position.
The Berserk racing car of Ronald Moons is now going to try and find a way back into second position. Doesn't have the angle down the hill here at turn 10 to make it happen on this hairpin. It's a unique hairpin as well, Joey, because it pretty much is a case of you fight for the apex on the inside because it's straight back up the hill. It's pretty much like a plunge down into the depths of another Norwegian circuit known as Hell.
I think that this circuit really suits these MX5 cars. It's not oversized, it's not too small, so you're right. A lot of these corners, a lot of these hairpin turns, it's just right to attack both on entry and on exit.
Yeah, and every single time you look around, you have to say, where are my places to defend, as Jameson Sampaio sets the fastest lap of the race, and that will give him a few more bonus points in the back pocket to take home here in Division 2, and he'll be trying to get everything that he can. You can get him for being the hard charger in the field, you can get him for the fastest lap, you can get him from pole position. At the moment, he's got 2 of them, does Jameson, and it's maximum points outlay that he has in his hands as it stands. So now as they go forward, look at the gap that he certainly has through, as now Jacquelet finds lap traffic and will tip Anton Simeonov around. It will cause everybody to scatter and go away. No patience from the optical car, and you can't blame him. He's got to move.
That was a little bit of a rough one. You know, he didn't even try to get to the inside there of Simeonov, but I understand he's trying to keep third place behind him. But yeah, that was a tough one for sure.
It was, and you have to consider as well, it's a slingshot through 3 and 4. Once you commit into the corner, it's very difficult to get out of the throttle through there because you'll just lose the rears.
I totally agree, but that's part of racing, and you do have to get around some of these cars. We got a fantastic little 4-car, 5-car train here.
Absolutely, it's Simeonov, the lap traffic in the front, so Connor Hope, Peter Reid, Alif Imran, Melvin Tyne, all there. Desperately trying to get onto this group is Willem van Rassel, Kalle Rantanen, and Martin Schmidt as well. So they're all there, they're all trying to find an angle that's going to allow them the opportunity to go out there and attack. But it's now about making sure that you are not losing out in terms of a straight line. When you've got limited power like these Miatas have here, Joey, your best reliance out there in terms of how you're going to make these overtakes is hoping that the cars in front of you check up and make a mistake like this. Connor Hope's going to have to go around the outside of the traffic, who's not playing ball.
Yeah, Peter Reid was looking around the outside. Here comes Alif Imran now trying to make it too wide with that number 37 car. This is going to get dicey as they come down the hill.
Yeah, it's Peter Reid to the inside of Connor Hope then, trying to get this pass, and Connor Hope's going to try and pivot around the outside. Contact front to rear. Hope's going to find himself wide there, and there's the secondary contact. Alif Imran will go around.
Oh, just wheel-to-wheel contact. That was actually a pretty big impact, and you got to watch out as you pull back across the track there. Thankfully, does not collect any more cars.
Mackenzie Mann was the car that had to slow up and has lost out. Global SimRacing Channel replay then here for you. And this is the key. You got side by side, bang, there's the front to rear contact. So that puts Connor Hope on the wrong track. But as he looks to be aggressive, he just shuts the door on Alif Imran, who's done absolutely nothing wrong there on that inside line. The only thing he does wrong, he tries to get out of the way. Mackenzie Mann decides to abandon stage left when the inside was available, but he was fighting too wide at the time, which is why he had to go through. I wouldn't call that an unsafe rejoin. I think he was trying to get out of the way, and traffic was not being helpful.
I think you called that perfectly, and Jake, I agree with you. It wasn't an unsafe rejoin. I don't think he ever actually left the track. How can it be a rejoin?
I certainly agree with that. Ronald Moans actually has just made the move on Carl Jacquelet. He got that done off the exit of turn number 12. Not often that you get to see a move done there. The 90-degree left-hander, Joey, is not often a transfer corner. He got the up and under done.
Yes, he did, but I think that's just a classic move of these MX5s. You mentioned having to get by somebody. Sometimes it takes a mistake just getting them off of the natural racing line, and then you can kind of do that crossover move.
Oh, and Roger Morton in the year one, or in the car that he's in right now, is trying everything to try and get through and jump another one. It looked very similar to year one colours, but I don't think it is. But Roger Morton now is really trying to open it up. It's the Safeguard by Result car, which is in the fluorescent yellow that is there, and of course the purple bars, which are there to indicate that it's his car colours that it's got through specific to himself. And on the brakes then, down at turn 10, Jacqueline just being a little bit shuffled out by rhythm here, and Morton's going to try everything in that result machine, try and jump through. The Safeguard car is trying to make sure that he is the warden who is safeguarding a podium place.
Let's keep an eye on this green and purple car, like you were calling out Roger Morton in the 153. I do believe he's a little bit faster than that black and red number 31 of Carl Jacqueline right in front of him. It's only going to be a matter of corners until he tries to attack.
Well, every corner tells a story, and can you find the move? Turn 1 is possibly one of the prime places today to get it done. The 90-degree left-hander, they're only going 92 kilometers an hour, Joey, into that opening corner, fighting down at about 85 to try and get a turn in off the exit, and it turns forever out of 2.
It really does, and I've said it. These are medium to slow speed corners, but they fit this car so well. You just have to learn how to dance it, how to control it. You cannot overdrive it.
You can't overdrive this car, because you know the moment that you do, you're going to be hemorrhaging buckets of time in a race like this. The last thing that anybody wants to be thinking about. Global SimRacing Channel replay then, here on screen. This is the start. So Matt Tempest is the car that doesn't go, and someone finds himself unsighted straight up the back, and that is where the calamity starts. Everybody on the right-hand side of the circuit then pivots, and the road almost a full traffic jam.
Yes, you called it almost a full traffic jam, and when it happened, I counted almost 10 cars involved in that one, and trust me, going through turns 1 and 2, there were several more spins after it.
And if you've been caught up in an incident, yes, you can use your fast repair, keep yourself going in this race, but it still means that you're going to be way down the order. A little search up the inside, trying to find places. This is Mackenzie Mann versus Andy Littler, and just behind that, Ali Bimran recovering against Carl Wincott recovering. So it looks like both of them trying to deal with their battles. Imran a little bit wide through 12, able to gather it up through 13 and angle to 14. But this could be one of the races where you're using your fast repair and your drop round. And the drop round's crucial. As you can see, the front completely off of Carl Wincott's car. The drop round's key because you're only at 3 in the season. You don't want to be using them late because you're stuck on the points you've got.
You mentioned that fast repair. I don't think that Carl Wincott is available of such fast repair to him because, like you said, he's going without the entire front end on the car. And he had a rough couple of laps. Remember, he qualified up inside of the top 10, so have to keep an eye on this one as well. He's trying to make his way through this scrum.
Yeah, well, he's got a car with no front clip as Andy Littler gets out of the way. And the car with no front clippers, it's side by side between Mann and Imran. Imran running wide. Wincott now with an angle to the inside is not going to get there. I think he's gone to the Colin Chapman School of Sim Racing Car Design here, Joey. Less on the car lighter, car faster.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it. You know, just start taking the panels off and all of a sudden you're narrower, you're lighter, everything is better.
Everything is and was very much nearly finding the move there just in front. Johan van Vinden we go on board with. He's got Brett Ride and Stephen Orrell there behind in the Darius Scary car as they go down through the hairpin and up off the exit again. You can see there Orrell looks like he's stolen the position and the march as he's got that move sorted, but not yet. They'll have to fight against Brett Ride. It's turn 12. He's got the inside covered and Orrell's got nothing there. He has to wait. There is the GTD racing car. They've done so well in the team's championship, this team.
And this is just behind that battle, and Carl Wincott is actually getting into the back of Mackenzie Mann just in front of this. So, Jake, this is about 10 cars right here. If you come into contact, if you spin around at all, look at all of the positions you're going to lose.
It's a boat. It's an absolute boatload of them, and Wincott trying to get some over-under, really maximising through turn 2 to get as much run off the exit. He will be down in a straight line because of the damage there, because he's got himself open. He's so reliant on the draft and being able to carry speed. Looks like Peter Reed might be in a bit of trouble. A huge bit of trouble. He's there with Martin Schmitz off the road.
This is coming down the hill. This is going to be really interesting to see exactly what happened, but I think that Peter Reed actually lost it by himself as we get this GSRC replay. Watch the blue car coming down the hill. He gets loose, spins it into the inside wall, bounces back onto the track.
Now, Joey, how much of that is too much trail brake?
This is the tough part. Oh, that was tough to watch. In terms of trail brake, I don't know. It could just be too much entry speed, because if you just carry too much speed into the corner, you're going to have a natural loose condition with the weight on the front end anyways.
Oh, he just has to commit left. At that point, does Martin Schmidt. He doesn't have hope that he can get it right in time through that section. Great avoidance by him, but look at where it puts him in terms of where the group stacks. And there's the big stack trouble there as the middle of the group now all has to spin around. One Mr. Brett Ride, who finds himself going for a ride in the 1P Motorsport 71.
Lots of action going on here in this race at Rudskogen. Take a look at another replay. Jake, you caught this one better than I did here.
Yeah, and you can see Danny inside. It all just checks up, and Brett Ride just puts too much rotation in the car. He spins it around. I think he was spooked by the car behind him trying to go down the inside, and that caused him to lose the back end of the car, be too aggressive through the corner. I think it tells us well here, Joey, in this Division 2 race, that they had the month break, the traditional month break in August. They don't race the series in August, but it shows that they've come back in September and they're missing that month's worth of racing.
Sometimes seat time is very important. It doesn't matter what you're racing, whether it's bicycles, motocross, cars. The more you are behind the steering wheel, the more comfortable you are. Things seem to come a little bit more natural.
Yeah, and it is a comfortable lead at the moment for Jameson Sampaio, who leads by 7.5 seconds in this field. There has been a spin on this lap for Roger Morton, which means he's dropped back from 4th to 5th. That was up the top of the plateau.
I think I also saw that Melvin Tajin got up a position that lap as well, or at least that previous lap, and Ronald Moen still holds down this second place position. But Jake, you look at out front, Jameson Sampaio, he's just checked out.
He has. He's absolutely checked out. This is what happened to Roger Morton then in the safeguard by result car. Up over the top of the hill, and the car just never settled over the rise.
Yeah, and you called it kind of over the rise right there. The car is going to naturally unsettle. Watch another one here. Kind of the same thing. Once you start going down the hill, the car just becomes naturally unsettled. That's vehicle dynamics for you.
It is, and Victor Oliveira's tyres there as he does doughies to get himself back pointing in the right direction will not be thanking him at the moment. James Austin then in 13th position is looking to try and make a move up to 12th on Peter Reed. Just in front of that, Rory Wetherington is up 14 spots in this race. The hard charger at this point is Stephen Orrell. He started 14th, he's up to 17th. He's up 23 spots in a case of 14 minutes.
I think I'm even seeing that he grabbed another one, up 24 for Stephen Orrell. He's got his mirrors full right now. That's Michael Tannegretta as well as Johan van Winden battling it out.
Van Winden gets a shot to the back behind there from Bruno Albino in the 3-wide racing car. They've also got Kleachos Duvansis there behind. Martin Schmidt's in there. So too Mackenzie Mann. Andy Littler's a lap down. And Jason Guerrero trying to get onto the back. And again Albino attacked down the inside. Makes contact. Might have to slow down there as he does have to slow down. He was too aggressive through. He'll have to serve that up the hill. That will push them 3 wides he goes through. But has he served that effectively? No. Tannegretta now the slowdown.
And look at Mackenzie Mann just trying to sort their way through this mess. It is just over under city right in front.
Oh, it is. It's pretty much a case of pick your lane and pick your moment. Patrick Alders' recovery in the Sweat racing car has been great. That's a move on Kalle Rantanen. Then to move up into the top 10 and now into 9th place. So Alders now really getting some good points, and he's a driver who's looking to be getting in to that top 40 when you consider that he's 58th in points at the moment. So he's going to need a little bit of help. Down the hill they go, and you start looking around. This 11th, 12th, and 13th. Peter Reed is a driver on the bubble who needs points.
Yeah, and right now he's in this battle. James Austin, Rory Wetherington, they were all kind of sandwiched right in the middle. And also, 7.5 minutes left in this race, so we're well past halfway. We are in the kind of the closing quarter of it.
We are in the closing quarter, and nobody's going to take a knee and stop themselves scoring record points. That much we can say. Down the hill goes Peter Reed and his group behind, including James Austin and Rory Wetherington. And it's pretty much plain sailing. And again, another car that is in a bit of trouble. GSRC replay then as we get to have a little look at Matt Tempest trying to recover through this field. This is through turn 12, which is a very troublesome corner. He tried his best to save it there, but the car has said absolutely not. You're going to go around front and rear clipped, deposited into the Armco.
I also see that Mackenzie Mann and I believe maybe the number 2 car were involved. That might be a wrong call there, but Mackenzie Mann was locked in that battle that we were just watching. Look at how many cars are involved, and this white and red car is going to spin right in front of Mackenzie, is in the blue and black car, and they both get collected into the left guardrail.
The GTD racing car there was just trying too hard there to really gain some power, to really gain some momentum. And just like that, you can very easily lose the limit of grip. This is one of the few cars where you can fight and work with that level of grip, but if you just go over the top of it, it's too much. Carl Wincott then, now in 13th position, is looking at 12th place possibly here to make the move on Rory Wetherington and Peter Reed, who is there in 11th place. So those drivers now are starting to search for what sort of points and places can we get. Up over the crest and at the plateau, through now turn 8, out on track, and then small flick right of turn 9, back down the hill. If you're gonna have a lunge or a dive to try and make a move, here is a place late in the lap where it can be done, and the room very much given there by one Mr. Rory Wetherington, who I think was very pedestrian, missed his braking point.
Yeah, it kind of let Carl Wincott right by. Carl's the car with the missing bumper out there. And I think that if Carl can go up there and pass Peter Reed, who's just in front of him, that'll put him kind of in that 11th place position. He started in 8th. Still not the race that he was probably hoping for, but at least salvaging something.
He is getting something out of it, and he's looking for any way through. He'll be targeting the orange helmet there in the white and the very, very beautiful sea greeny blue that is there in front in terms of the roll bars. On the brakes they go into turn 1, and it's very much a paint by numbers turn out there for the driver in what is 14th place, James Austin. He's really having to work, and he's ragging on the wheel, and this is where you've had such an intense race out there where you've always having to be looking left, right, left, right. It's amazing how quickly your brain can become frazzled in a race like this.
It's a quick racetrack. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with all of the competitors as we have more problems. This is Tim Brink a little bit further down the order, fallen back down past 30th position with some problems on the racetrack. We're going to get a GSRC replay here. Exactly what happened. Coming through this left-hander and just gets loose on exit, meets that guardrail on the left side. Jake, you were mentioning that sea greeny color. We were talking NFL pre-race. I'm surprised you didn't say a sea hockey color.
Well, I'm surprised as well. Mackenzie Mann just trying to let the traffic go through here, gets on the brakes, tries to stay out of the way, and he's dropped back now into 40th position to try and stay out of trouble, and it looks like his race is over. A shame for him out there. There are the drivers then trying to push, as we looked a little bit there with Tim Brink. This is Rory Wetherington still. This race on 13th is very much a case of a couple seconds here and there throughout the majority of the field in terms of trying to find places and positions. It is getting very, very tough towards the late stage of the race to find a little bit bit more. Roger Morton might be someone who's looking around himself in a couple of moments, because Connor Hope is really pushing a 36.3 on that last lap. Did lose a couple tenths, but he's keeping him honest.
Yeah, that would be the battle for the 5th place position, as this battle still rages on. Carl Whincup still chasing the number 37 of Peter Reed for that 11th spot. And this is a little bit further back. This is Bruno Albino in the 18th place position.
Yeah, and Bruno for the 3 Wide Racing team is now looking to go through 50th in the championship. Any more spaces would be greatly appreciated, but is not able to find them. Cresting back up the hill. Have you got enough of a drive to go and make something happen? Through the lefts then of 5 and 6 and then into 7, and it's such a commitment up through 5, 6 and 7. You are really trying to minimize how much road you're actually taking through that section.
And you have to take all of it in these cars. Remember, they are momentum cars. They don't have these big V8s to pull them out of those mistakes that other vehicles might have. So you really have to maximize all of the racetrack, whether it be on entry, apex, or exit.
Every single corner will matter. There are 2 laps to go in this race, being led by Jameson Sampaio up at the front of this field. His lead gap is 11.5 seconds. It's 1.5 between Ronald Moans now and Carl Jacquelet. There is Jameson Sampaio with the Lewis Hamilton helmet on, trying to get as much as he can around the corners here through turn 8, looking towards turn 9. It's 2nd and 3rd, which is starting to close. Carl Jacquelet, I think, starting to find the momentum he wants. He took 7 tenths out of Ronald Moans on that last lap.
Yeah, good lap from the number 31 that we are riding on board with right now. The red and black car of Carl Jacquelet headed down the hill, and something on the horizon. I do see more lap traffic that's going to come into play.
Yeah, and that lap traffic's going to have to behave. It is Tim Brink who is there, just commanding his own line at the moment. Moans is going to have to wait and be patient in terms of trying to get through, and does so to the inside on the exit of turn 12. It brings Carl Jacquelet into striking distance within a second, and Moans will realise then that he is in a real shock right now. Final lap start for Jameson Sampaio, but it's Jacquelet's optical car that is really trying to chase down Mr. Bell car.
Yeah, it's really that battle for the 2nd place spot on the podium. Can Carl Jacquelet really reach down deep, find a bunch of pace, and chase down Ronald Moans?
Well, Moans is going to realise that he's in a race here. So too is Carl Whincup, because he's looking around at who's dropped back. That's Kalle Rantanen, who's dropped a space then and a bit of time. So Kalle going backwards now outside of the top 10. So this is now for a top 10 finish here in Division 2 with the Positive Delta Motorsport car pretty much looking here, there and everywhere. Doesn't know whether he's going forward or looking backwards. Looks more like he's looking backwards.
This is a good charge from Rantanen, like you were saying, trying to hold off what is Carl Whincup in that missing bumper number 57 right now as they head off down the hill. Already a little bit of a defensive move.
Yeah, certainly searching for places down the hill at 3 and 4, and that's very aggressive down on the inside, almost grabbing grass at that section. As this happens though, Jameson Sampaio will go through turn 13 and now through turn 14. Father of younger son Enzo, he now knows that he has put his statement forward. It's up to his son to now do the deed for the team. Jameson Sampaio will come to the line and take Division 2 in a dominant display here at Rudskogen Motor Centre.
Enough of a gap that we can pretty much keep on talking. Here comes Ronald Moans as well as Carl Jacquelet for the final steps on the podium.
Every place matters, and Connor Hope's going to be close here heading towards the line. There's not much Roger Morton can do except look behind and realise, you know what, I've done just enough to hold on for a top 5 on debut. Not much you can't shake a stick at. It's going to be close as well between Alders and Melvin Tyne heading to the line then for 8th and 9th. That one really close, and what a cluster towards the end. Stephen Orrell's got another one here, and he's going to be up, what, 14th, 13th? Might even be 12th. You can get Rantanen on the line here. This is going to be a really close one here. What a drive here by the Darius Scary car. How close do you want it on the line? Kalle Rantanen holds by 400ths.
Up 25 positions for Steven Orrell in that number 38 car. A couple big movers as well. Bruno Albino plus 23. I see David Mitchell also up plus 20. Big time races for those drivers.
Some big time races over a big time field. Let's get confirmation of result then here from the Rudskogen Motor Centre. Jameson Sampaio picks it up in a time of 25 minutes and 25 seconds and wins by 13 over Ronald Moens. Carl Jacquelet will finish off third with Pedro Marimon in fourth position. Roger Morton would hold out the top five with Connor Hope in sixth. Willem van Rassel would be seventh ahead of Melvin Tyne. Three Dutch drivers in a row with Patrick Alders in ninth. Peter Reed rounding out the top 10.
Then you have Alif Imran in 11th place, Carl Wincop in 12th place, Rory Wetherington in 13th, Kalle Rantanen in 14th, Steven Orrell in 15th place, James Austin in 16th, Michael Tenegretta finishing in 17th, Johan van Vinden in 18th, Jason Guerrara in 19th, and Lewis Benny finishing in 20th.
29 drivers would finish on the leading lap. David Mitchell would be 21st of them. Then it was Nicholas Norwood and Martin Schmidt. Stephen Elder had a quiet race in 24th. Victor Oliveira would finish ahead of Sir Alan Toon with Shane Pettigill and Tyler Emery, the number 54 car, not having a good day in 28th. Bruno Albino, 29th, would gain some places, but because of the penalty, would drop back down the field towards the end. Matt Tempest did not get going off the start. He still got 30th.
Then in 31st place, these cars still one lap down. Arturo Davila, Tim Brink, after a couple spins, finishes 32nd. David Geddes in 33rd place. Amula Bacchus finishes 34th. Anton Simeonov, 35th. Brett Ride in 36th. Clearchos Daventis in 37th. Bill Jenkins back in 38th. Andrew Littler in 39th. And a few more here. Alvaro Rodriguez, your first car, 2 laps down, but does take the checkered flag. And then, unfortunately, Mackenzie Mann, Timo Payo, and then Enzo Sampaio did not finish the race.
I figure that Enzo Sampaio was watching and forgot to watch in the right way. We're going to step aside, though, for just one moment. Division 1 comes up after this, and it's very close in the championship. Every place will matter.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, then to your Simify MX5 World Sim Series round 8 of 10 here around this Rudskogen Motor Centre. This is how they stacked up coming into tonight. Ade Koba, 46 points to the good over Pablo Espes, once teammates, now on two different teams. Ade Koba now finds himself with Simify Sim Racing. Pablo Espes, thanks to the Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing series, now jumps over to Wave Racing Italy. Marcello Pagnan is third, ahead of Vladislav Shopov, with Ronnie Mantiniemi and Adam Delmont 5th and 6th. Jason Cooper used one of his drop rounds last time out, did not turn up for racing. He's down in 7th, but definitely a contender for position. And it's important to talk position because the driver who finishes up at the top is going to have pole position for Laguna Seca in the World Final. Lars Fischer is in 8th position, tied on points with his teammate Jason Cooper. And then you got Fernando Anthony 9th and Adam McNally rounding out the top 10. Over in the teams, though, Joey, Obsidian will now have their work cut out.
Yeah, well, they currently are leading that championship, 180 points over 5-Star Motorsports, and it's kind of equidistant gap to that third-place team of Next Gen Racing, but look at how close it is. Less than 15 points separating Next Gen and negative delta by Buehler, so that is really up in the air right now for that third place in the team standings. You got to jump back another handful of points, but the battle for what will be 5th place between Blue Rose Team and GTD is close as well. Kind of pairs of battle as you go all the way through the top 10 in these teams.
Yeah, and those teams' battles have been crucial. One thing has been for certain, though, Spain have been dominant in the Nations Cup. They have been ahead by 170 points over the United Kingdom for a while, but it gets really, really dicey. 3rd to 5th, United States, Bulgaria, and Finland all going at it between each other. Italy find themselves in 6th in a race against the Netherlands. They're 40 points to the good there, with Brazil clawing back in 8th position. Germany find themselves just 5 points back of the Brazilians. They are in 9th. Portugal rounding out the top 10 as it currently stands. We are in the thralls of qualifying. They've got 10 minutes and 3 legitimized qualifying laps to put it together. And if anything we learned from the summer, Joey, it was the summer of one driver and one driver only. The driver in the number 11 who's at the top, Jaume Dalmases.
Well, he's enjoying a nice, crisp Norwegian day, 78-degree ambient, 81 degrees on the track. So despite summer kind of being over, it's still nice out there right now. And Jaume Dalmases is currently leading the way, a 133.3 provisional pole.
At the moment, a 10th and a half clear of Jason Cooper. Fernando Anthony 3rd. Ade Koba goes up into 4th position with Pablo Espes currently rounding out your top 5. There is the 5-star machine of Jason Cooper looking to charge then over towards the line. He was talking at the start of the season that 5-star wouldn't be any more after the opening couple of rounds. Well, they've stuck around and said we'll see out the whole season. That's a 33.411. That's good enough to remain in 2nd, but the gap closes down to 0.09 of a second. Dalmases then can't improve on that lap time, so his last lap doesn't quite play out in comparison either. Last few drivers searching the Taramundi machine of Laurent Sebastian, trying to hope that there's a little bit more in there to improve from 18th position.
And most of these cars, you're right, Jake, have already taken their 3 full laps. I'm kind of impressed because there's still about 2 minutes left on the board, and I'm looking through timing and scoring. Almost everybody is currently on their 3rd and final lap.
Yeah, and you start looking around and saying, well, who needs the points? The 2 drivers that I would look at who are gaining the most out of tonight as we focus on the Blue Rose team's Ari Harrow at the moment are going to be cars 42 and 43, Tero Tillis and Roberto Bruno. They're on the outside looking in, and they're getting top split points, and they've qualified it actually incredibly well inside the top 20. This will be a huge points day for them.
Points are always important, and you're right, track position even more important as we watch Ari Haro come down that sweeping compression and really have to catch the car coming out. I mentioned these cars, this track, it's a perfect combination. They still slide around a ton. You gotta grip them, you gotta drive them.
That'll be the off-track instant point, though, for Ari Haro, so he's gone a little bit too wide there, and as such, he'll take the wider line and realise, yeah, I'm out of laps. There's nothing more that I can do about that. We'll get a chance then to go over to our Simify starting grid. then for racing action in Division Number 1. Simify, of course, the title sponsor for the MX5 World Sim Series, is an online web shop housing a vast array of sim racing essentials for the next step in your virtual career. From steering wheels, seats, and handbrakes to even the common sim racing glove, Simify ships worldwide and is available to be seen both in English and Espanol. Use the discount code MX5WSS at checkout to receive a discount on your sim racing purchase by visiting www.simify.com today. Jaume Dalmases then will take pole position. He's won the last 2 races. He's looking for a three-peat. Jason Cooper will be alongside him on the front row, with Fernando Antli in 3rd and Ade Koba, the championship leader, going from 4th position. Pablo Espes lines up in 5th, with Vladislav Shopov 6th, Lars Fischer and Marcelo Peñan 7th and 8th. Peñan, you could argue, hasn't had a chance to show what he can do at the front of any of these fields this season. Joel Singleton will line up 9th, and then it is the year 1 car of David Chapman, which rounds out the top 10.
Then we have Jordanen Setanov in 11th, Ewan Bremer here in 12th, Trevor Roy in the number 14 in 13th, Enzo Sampaio lined up next to him in 14th, David Morales in 15th, Nuno Ferrara in 16th, Roni Mantanyaimi in 17th, Tiro Tillis in 18th, Roberto Bruno in 19th, and Lauren Sebastian rounding out row 10.
Yeah, following that, you got Eugenio Pulici in 21st, Rodrigo Emmerich and Adam McNally way down the order, along with Adam Delmont. Both of those drivers were hoping for more than that. Oscar Pajadas is 25th, with Pieter Hossens in 26th position. Cali Cavisto and Miles Owens, they house row 14 of the grid. Stefan Olderding meets Edward Gross in 30th.
And then 31st, Jamie Florentino, Albert Palahi in 32nd, Luis Suarez in 33rd, Patrick Cantel, Tom Daly, Renaud Zellgeller, Michael Elliott, Martin Sampson in 38th, Riyad Yasmin 39th, Sander Ver in 40th, Charles Kellyman and Ari Haro, 42 cars total.
42 cars total, and those drivers in the back end of the field will be so happy with the points haul that they're going to get. It will spearhead them up towards top 40 positioning as they go about their business. But today it is all business as they go through and work out what do they need to do today to get the results that they have been hoping for. The likes, of course, of the Zenith Esports car of Jaume Dalmases has been impossible to beat over the last 3 months. Is that going to change with Cooper, with Anthony, with Koba, and with Espes? What used to be a team that was united now is on 3 separate teams, and they all have their own agenda. It is everyone for themselves here today at Rudskogen, and they know one thing for certain. Top 40 points are crucial. They want their grid position heading to the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. 25 minutes then on the clock. Lights on here at Rudskogen, and the climb uphill starts now as they get themselves underway. It looked like a good start there by Jaume Dalmases as he got off the front, and everyone's going to pour themselves single file through the opening stages there. Dalmases will still have to cover though into turn number 1 as they all search for a little bit of space on the outside. Planning Shopov having a little search, but he has to scamper across the road a little bit as they go through. Spinner in the middle of the field then, and there is the carnage.
I believe that's Enzo Sampaio that's turned around, and more cars involved in turns number 2. I see about 5 cars maybe affected total. More cars spinning around now.
Oh, and side by side, Jason Cooper and Fernando Antli going at it, and now it's Antli and Ade. They're going at it. The 2 former teammates now battling the Simify Sim Racing car on the outside. Ade Koba has to give him the rope, and the top 2 are breaking away. There's still no give as they go up over the plateau. Antli takes it. Here comes Pablo Espes.
Pablo Espes trying to sneak through that open door, and looks like he will claim that position over the number 1 of Ade Koba. Slowly falling back. Can he stop the bleeding? Now he charges up the inside.
But he's not got clearance, and up the hill, he realises the inside's open when it comes to turn 12. Small kick left of 11, and here's it goes on the brakes. Then Espes to the inside, Ade Koba giving just enough room, and on the exit, he is going to hold that place. Brilliant stuff, fighting through 13. Round the outside, he takes it. Now Shopov trying to steal the inside. Spinner again at 13.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that might have been Joel Singleton a little bit further back, and you called it. When the door closes, another one opens. We are 3 wide down the front straight to close out the first lap.
The SRC Movano Corsa car and Marcelo Peñan watches Fisher and Shopov and Espes and Ade Koba, top three, buy themselves away though at the front of the field. We talk about the rubber band, 1.5 seconds, Joey, it snaps.
Yeah, it really can, but look at this. The top three, they're kind of trying to stretch that rubber band. They're trying to break it, and it's kind of impressive, the gap that they have to fourth place Ade Koba.
Yeah, and Ade, you look at the middle of the group, Ade's got to really work. He had to defend so hard. We look at Lars Fischer in 7th position, and this group then at the front, which all knows that they've got to chase and gain spaces. Speaking of gaining spaces, up 10 off the start. Adam McNally is a very, very good hard charger candidate at this moment in time. As you can see here, he's up over the hill. He's now into 12th.
Yeah, and just got the eyes set forward. That's Svetanov right in front of him, about a second up the road. So crucially, plenty of time left to continue that charge.
Yeah, and that charge is going to be crucial. Driver's eye view then from Jason Cooper in the 5-star motorsport car with the yellow and green, very Subaru-like colours, as he now looks to charge over towards that long sweeping right-hander then that ends the lap, turn 14. It's very McRae-like. If in doubt from Jason Cooper, he is flat out.
The 555 coming back, even if it is just in the interior only. But I mentioned that gap that they've got to Ade Koba in 4th place. I think it's crucial here because remember, you don't have the draft to help pull you along. If they separate, that is on pace.
Yeah, it's on pure pace that you find it. Remember, fastest lap here is 5 bonus points. Pole position for Dalmasses was another 5 bonus points, and a race win. Get an extra 10 in the back pocket if you can hold that together. Hard Charge gets 2 championship points here on top of getting the maximum points allowed. Down the hill they go. 1, 2, 3, and here is 4th position right now in Ade Koba in the group that he is trying to bring along. It is just at 1 second. The group's closing in front, and they're just trying to keep the pace up because the moment that these drivers, these top three, start battling, they're all in.
And you mentioned it's right at 1 second. You look at Ade's last lap time, a 133.72. Well, our leader, a 133.79. So he's within, what, about a handful of milliseconds between himself and the leader in terms of pace.
And we talk about fine margins. It doesn't get much finer than that for number 1, Ade Koba. He knows how crucial it is to keep himself in the picture to gain these points, but he also knows that Fernando Antli is one of the quickest. Look at the Wave Italy car of Pablo Espes. They're just behind, trying to mastermind an overtake any which way he can find it. And he knows that he's got to be very choice with the way he makes this move. The moment he goes side by side, it can be gone. But over the course of that second half of the lap, just the pressure from one Pablo Espes has caused that gap to go from 1 second to 1.5.
Well, Ade Koba had a little bit of a mistake coming out of that hairpin. He slipped up a little bit on the exit. So I wonder if Pablo Espes, as well as Vladislav Shopov, who we're riding on board with right now, I wonder if they are actually faster than Ade Koba and they're getting held up.
That could definitely be a case, and they've got to work together if they want to have any shot of a podium here at Rudskogen Motor Centre. This is a big phase in terms of their racing, and they know down the hill here, 19 minutes, 37 seconds. They can play nice for the moment. Little wiggle there from Pablo Espes going through this section of road. They can play nice right now, but at some point, someone's going to turn nasty.
Well, if you're Pablo Espes, how many mistakes can you accept out of Ade Koba letting the leaders run away before you put your foot in that door, like you're saying?
Yeah, how long, how much time, and all of a sudden Jaume Dalmasses now is starting to gain a gap as well. This is Fernando Antli and Koba, this is Pablo Espes who's looking forward and thinking, what can he do? Antli searching for the chance then to move up into 2nd position. That gap 9/10 of a second. Dalmasses just has not let off the throttle at any point through the opening 4 laps. He is trying so hard to break Jason Cooper and Fernando Antli and give himself a clean run. Look at Espes trying to find the gap. It's not there.
He just tried to put the nose up the inside of that final corner, just trying to get Ade Koba off of the driving line any sort of way that he can. He's going to have to go single file through turns 1 and 2 here, but let's watch the exit of turn 2. Let's see if he can get a little bit more drive down the hill.
Yeah, and down the hill is the key. You have to use gravity to help you, and that's what makes turn 3 such a great place for overtaking. Espes in the number 2 car behind the number 1, not close enough. They're carrying very even speeds down the hill, and there's no move through the slingshot corner. Can he pivot away to the inside? God, he's showing his nose everywhere. And look at it, it was like a Christmas tree watching Ade Cobra on the brakes. He's so lightly tapping it, trying to get rotation in the car.
That's what you have to do with these cars. They are constantly on the limit, so you dance, you modulate that brake pedal pressure. How much weight do you need on the front versus stopping power to really slow down that car? It's all in that fine dance.
It is that fine dance. I remember when I had a PlayStation 3 controller for iRacing, Joey, and all I had was on or off for the brakes, and it was very much a Christmas tree every time I hit the brakes. Not the same as brake modulation. That was the most severe example I could think of. But at least at this point in time, Pablo Espes is looking for just a place at this moment. The two who left Obsidian are squabbling amongst each other while the car that remained is down the road.
And Koba has picked up the pace a little bit, but I still think that Pablo Espes might be a little bit faster. Here we go. This is as close as he's ever been going down the front straightaway. He's going to have a look into one.
Yeah, but he'll go the long way around trying to make it happen here. Can he get clearance through this section? Oh, this is brilliant from Pablo Espes. He does run off the road, though, and that could have been very, very dangerous. He doesn't get the slowdown penalty, but he gets the place for it. So he gets it done. But Ade's not going to give this one up here on the outside. He's going to try and side draft his way alongside. Lap traffic down on the inside. That's going to be Laurent Sebastiano and the Terramundi car as they go down the hill. This is the view from the negative Delta car of Vladislav Shopov, and Ade falls back into line. Good move by Pablo Espes.
All right, we're going to see if Pablo Espes is going to make me eat my own words here. What kind of pace does the number 2 have? And also, I'm curious, is Shopov now going to be able to make a move on Ade Koba?
Well, Koba knows he's got number 1 in the championship at the moment by his pure consistency value. He also knows he can't afford to give points away and give position away when it comes to the World Final at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. That's why the front of the field is so important. Every single place is going to add up by the end of the season. Lars Fischer in 8th in the championship right now. He's looking around going, well, Dalmases is behind me, he's going to gain. Antley is behind me, he's going to gain. And now he's thinking about, well, if I can gain on Shopov, if I can gain on Pablo Espes, I'd absolutely love that. Those are positions I can definitively say I gained this week on.
And he's looking at the dinner table right in front of him with all of these cars battling side by side, just wondering if there's going to be any contact to be made, maybe even go up there, steal a cheeseburger from him.
Steal anything from him right now, pick his pocket and run. That's the sort of case where he's trying to get away at this point as they all stack up. Dalmases is your race leader, has led every single lap of this race, and he has read his story well. But now the group, the top 3, are starting to coalesce and get together here in a more traditional fashion. And this is crucial right now, Joey, because when the top 3 are playing ball, that means that these drivers have to play even better ball to try and get up to him. It's still 2 or just about 2 seconds, the margin here between 3rd and 4th. So the top 3 are doing everything right. Dalmases leading this race. Cooper and Antley aren't getting close enough to maybe even give Dalmases the thought of the think of an overtake. They'll wait probably till the final 5 minutes.
I think so too, and we're coming up to that halfway point, so I still do think that this race can condense a little bit depending on the pace of Pablo Espes back there in 4th place, but I agree with you, Jake. I think Dalmases is just setting an incredible pace. If Cooper and Antley have anything in the bag, they would be smart just to hang out, separate themselves from that 4th place, and then attack closer to the end.
I do love Dalmases' line, though, through the final corner. He absolutely diamonds off that section of track where other drivers are going for the move straight for it. Here comes Fernando Antley, though. He wants 2nd position away from Jason Cooper, and if he wants to get that track position, he's got to do it now. On the brakes, Cooper lets him have it there. Did not want to fight because that gap has accelerated out to 0.8 of a second.
Well, and they looked behind. They've grown the gap to 2 seconds. Now it's come back down to 1.8 seconds to Pablo Espes in that 4th place position. So if these 2, Jason Cooper and Fernando Antley, they continue to battle, well, it's just losing touch with the leader and drawing in the competitors behind.
Well, if Anthony's got the pace, and we know that Anthony wants to go, and it looks like Marcelo Pagnan now is in a bit of trouble, because that could be server side that he's now just found himself in, and that would be a huge kick for him in terms of his points and what he wants, because if he's now out of the race, that means that he can't gain any more points than he's already got. His place probably secure already in for the World Final, but any chance of gaining points tonight aren't going to happen. Vladislav Shopov now finds himself sitting in 6th position, looking at the #1 championship leader, trying to get a little look around the outside. It's not going to happen, but he's stuck in the awkward position where car in front of him's got draft, so he's not gaining an advantage on this straight.
So I grew up racing MX5s, Jake, and you are 100% right. Being the 3rd, 4th car in line in these draft trains can be incredibly frustrating. You'll go back and look at the data and say, this is as fast as I've ever gone in a straight line in the car. How come I'm not catching? It's just almost that DRS train effect. It works just like a parachute here with these open top cars.
Oh, it really does. And these I wouldn't say even convertibles, they're a soft top at this moment as they now look to try and charge on through 1 and 2, are very much built in terms of the style of racing that they've got. It's all about pack mentality. It's all about who's got the biggest brain in the field, who is outthinking everybody else, and who's going to put themselves right place, right time to strike. 3 to the good, followed by 4. Pagnan back in this race in 8th position. He was gone for a good minute with his connection. He's back and racing again, so he's still in 8th place, being fortunate to not be chucked out the server.
Gotta be careful of those internet connection issues, as this really the top 7 battle. I know that there's a small gap between the front 3 and the next 4 here, but if Dalmasas, Antoli, or Cooper makes any mistakes, these next 4 are just going to be right there to pounce.
They absolutely will. Want to give a shout out though to Martin Sampson at the moment. He is up 18 places. So too is Ari Haro. They are both tied as the biggest movers in the field. They both have the hard charges points as they stand. Haro more likely to take that because he's got Patrick Cantrell that he wants to get by. This, the race on for 23rd.
Plenty of positions more for Ari to go out there and grab. 10+ minutes left in the race as they go down the hill. He's got his eyes set on the number 36, like you were saying, Patrick Cantrell in that black and orange car.
Yeah, and it's very much a case where if orange was the new black, he is certainly looking to try and drive with everything he's got to get away. Miles Owens is there just in front, and Owens is driving damaged at the moment, so that's the key. Top 3 still there, and now we're starting to play these games here on the straight, starting to find the defences from Jaime Dalmasas, who will know Fernando Antoli inside and out with the Iberian racing scene, and will not want to have him there. And here's a look to the inside. Ade Kova's deciding to pull the pin. He's going to go for it now through 3 and 4. Can he get the run up the hill? 5 and 6 is a switchback section. Inside then for the Wave Italy car. Outside then for the Wave Italy car. Inside again at the plateau. And he tries to attack through the long left-hander. And they start collecting each other. Bloody shot up to the inside. Takes them both. Oh, fantastic.
And then here also comes Lars Fischer. He's going to try to sneak through on the inside, but you're right, it's Shopov, the big mover, and now Kova crazy late on the brakes to take back away the 4th place position.
No risk from Vladdy Shopov there. Did not want to risk the car. He left all the space in the world for Ade Kova, and now they've decided here with 9.5 minutes to go, they're done thinking about the podium. They'll race amongst themselves.
Yeah, they are definitely scrapping it out for the 4th place position. And honestly, Jake, remember, I thought Pablo Espes was going to run away when he got in front of Ade Kova. Kova proved me wrong. They are pretty much all on top of each other in terms of pace. It's just that track position difference.
Track position makes all the difference. 1, 2, and 3. They find themselves here at the front. Dalmasas, Antoli, and Jason Cooper. It's been a story on repeat through the summer about how good Jaime Dalmasas is. But Fernando Antoli, who's got 1 race meeting missed this season, Jason Cooper, who's got 1 race meeting missed this season, is going to look to try and score as many points. If Dalmasas can continue finding victory lane and getting himself the top step of the podium, he is well on course to start putting challenges on to these sorts of drivers to say, you know what, I could go out there, I can make it happen. And let's not forget Dalmasas' start to the season was off at turn 1 all the way back at Sukuba.
And to talk about today, about Rudskogen, what intrigues me right now, Jake, is Antony is able to show the nose pretty much on every corner and then still maintain the exit on Dalmasis. If you're seeing that in the mirror, that's got to make you a little nervous.
It will. I'll correct myself. Okayama, round 1 of the championship. But now through turn 12, and it's all about the medium speed corners. They're all on identical setups here, Joey. This is what's going to be frustrating. It's not a case of my car's quicker than your car because I set it up properly. It's my car's better than your car because I can drive it better.
You have to understand the equipment underneath you and then maximize the use of that. Yes, you're right. Everybody on the same fixed setup. So it depends. How much practice time did you put in and how much do you just understand the car and the track?
Vladislav Shopov getting close in the negative delta by Bueller's machine. Thinking about it on Adekova for Simplify Sim Racing. Isn't going to manage that one as a pass. Looking around the outside then at turn 2. Trying to get back into line and find if there is an overtake there with 7 minutes left. Not quite happening at this moment in time. Troubles. Jordan Svetanov spun at turn 1.
Problems, you're right, and he was having a good run up inside the top 15. This is still the battle for what is the 4th place position. I'm really impressed with Shopov in this purple and white car. He's starting to really put the pressure on Adekova, who just hasn't been able to run away.
No, but then you got Pablo Espes, who is a dynamite-style driver. He can make something up out of nothing. He is a magician when he's behind the wheel. But you've also got Lars Fischer, who's ever so delicate. Little defense into the inside. I can confirm there was front-to-rear contact between Jordan Svetanov and Matsuyama. He cut the nose off of Pablo Espes through 10, and the gap opens up to half a second.
Yeah, I think that Espes just kind of misjudged that gap a little bit. He was judging the accordion, and you're right, it really bit him. He lost a little bit, not enough to break the draft, break this fight, but he's just going to have to regroup.
He will. I'll tell you what, Fernando Antley is very, very close with 6 minutes to go. I think gloves are starting to come off at the front of the field. Look how close it is. Thinking about a move to the inside. Does he dare look for it late? Oh, you bet he does, but he's not got himself truly alongside. Brilliant confidence by Dalmasis to take the natural line.
And crucially, Dalmasis was able to get the nose tucked back in for turn number 2, get the drive off, but Antley squarely in the slipstream. He's going to have to really chuck it down the inside of 3 if he's got a shot down the sweeper.
I'll tell you what, he's trying to really open up the middle here. It's not 3 he wants. He wants turn 4, and it's just covered off by Jaume Dalmasis again. This is brilliant driving here, and they're racing pretty much bumper to bumper, knowing the absolute limit that they can give each other.
Jason Cooper is just sitting back there licking his chops because if Antley goes side by side with Dalmasis, well, these are momentum cars. If he can time it right, you've seen him go 3 wide and go by both.
Yeah, we absolutely have. And it's that speed, that pace that becomes crucial. And there is the move that gets it done. The inside of turn 10 has opened it up. And here at 11, Dalmasis has to defend it at 12. Now back under the inside. Has Fernando Antley got it? He's on the wrong side of the road for turn 14. It's over 250 degrees. A right-hander sliding it through the corner. He just about saves it. And Jason Cooper snipes it away. And we'll get a drive off the exit for the race lead battle. This is brilliant stuff on the front stretch. He'll now have to go to the outside to get this done at turn 1. And now Fernando Antley realises, what on earth just happened? I was looking at lead, and there, Dalmasis on the inside still defends and holds.
I'm not saying I'm psychic, but when you hang out around these cars enough, you get to know the racing. But Dalmasis was able to hang on to the lead. But Jake, 4 minutes left. That means a few laps. This is far from over.
Well, there's far from over, and there is this. This is incredible at this moment in time. You can't ask for better racing between these top 3, and they are all racing for one thing and one thing only: victory in this one. Dalmasis taking a couple tenths of a second here. Jason Cooper just trying to give himself a bit of a breather here. 3 minutes 50, up over the plateau they go for the 14th time in this race. Wide goes Jaume Dalmasis. Jason Cooper will take the lead away, and Dalmasis will struggle through second, and Now Antley will take that one as well. A rare mistake because it was a slowdown penalty for Dalmas's killer in terms of his race.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't even realize that it was a slowdown. I was going to say the first real true mistake out of Dalmas's. And that Shopov spun as he was trying to battle side by side with Espes.
How on earth has Vladislav Shopov kept that one going? He's still racing out there for 7th and 8th. That was just a mistake, too much power on the exit. Now he races with Lars Fischer into 14.
Side by side through the final corner. Who can get the drive off down the start-finish straightaway? Pretty equal distant runoff, but up front, Jason Cooper has heavy pressure from Fernando Antoli.
Side by side through 1 and 2, forcing a way through goes Fernando Antoli, and back into the race leader for the first time. He will go. Brilliant stuff there from Fernando, and now he's got 2.5 minutes to hold, but they're bringing Jaime Dalmas's back.
Dalmas's never really lost touch, and he is right there, like you were saying. And honestly, Fernando Antoli, I think he got away with one because he was off the track in turn number 2 on entry.
He was, and he's done very, very well to keep that going. They all dive in nose to tail on board with the Zenith Esports car, then of Jaime Dalmas's, and a little bit of room given then by Jason Cooper as they dive up over the top of the hill through 7 and down through 8. A little gap forming then for Fernando Antoli. It's going to be close here, whether it's going to be 1 or 2 laps to go. I think we might be heading to that white flag lap.
Yeah, we got about roughly 20 seconds until we get that white flag, so we'll just have to see their time as they come up to the line. And if we do get that white flag here, Jake, that means Jason Cooper, Jaime Dalmas's, they're running out of time.
I think we will now, so it will mean 1 lap and a little bit then left to go. 1, 2 and 3, Antoli, Cooper, Dalmas's, who has got what it takes to put themselves through. The driver who's got 2 straight looking for 3, on the outside looking in. The driver who was only a point away from the championship lead before he missed last round. He might want a victory. Or the man who finds himself with a championship to think about. His 2 main gunners have gone somewhere else, and he has to do it as the Lone Ranger at the front of the field. Fernando Antoli now defending as they head towards turn 3, and look at the run that Jason Cooper gets. He's going to get right up onto the back end through the slingshot, but he's not going to get himself in position to make this move just yet. He's still got turn 10. That is a different place where you can find that. But remember, Dalmas's will want points as well. They're in drop round season, and every point is going to matter. Up through 5 and 6, and now the plateau of turn 7, up over the top of the hill. Antoli has been fantastic at gaining momentum through there all night long, and Jason Cooper is simply a passenger to it at this point in time. He can only stare and watch as Fernando Antoli's got his margin. Here comes Dalmas's with a look. He's not going to get there. There's still chances fighting off the exit, sliding it out to the corner. Goes Fernando Antoli, and Jason Cooper realizes, time is a ticking. If I'm going to find it, it's 14, but there's still a car between them in terms of distance. And for Fernando Antoli, when Ade Koba has gone away, when Pablo Espes has eyes on open wheel, he knows that his focus has been this Simify series, and he will come to the line, and he will take it here at Rudskogen Motor Centre.
What a race from those top 3. Ade Koba looks like he will be able to cross the line in 4th place. Pablo Espes finishing there in 5th place. That second battle kind of dissolved a little bit in those last handful of laps. Marcelo Peñan was really the big mover, and that was Shopov kind of falling off the back.
Yeah, and Shopov then struggling towards the end there would still claim 7th position, as the likes of Martin Sampson will gain 18 places here in this race, do an incredible job, but will not take the hard charge of points because Ari Haro is up 19 just behind him. So he crosses the line for the Blue Rose team, will get 2 extra championship points in the back pocket. He's 24th in the championship. That should get him secure and into the top 40 for the World Finals. So some big points coming in terms of drivers trying to improve a little bit more out there, but absolutely incredible from top to bottom. We're going to step aside for one moment here with the Global Sim Racing Channel. Post-race after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser-scanned replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You couldn't ask for anything more here from Rudskogen Motor. Sections would be changing, heading into autumn and then soon into winter. Fernando Antoli's, though, race of 25 minutes and 9 seconds was enough to get it done by 0.3 of a second over Jason Cooper. Jaume Dalmas's, that slowdown penalty that he picked up was enough to cost him 3 straight. Arecoba would finish 4th, with Pablo Espes making it 4 Spaniards inside of the top 5. Marcelo Pagnan would end up in 6th after a scary moment with connection issues. Vladislav Shopov would be 7th, with Lars Fischer in 8th place, matching his number. David Chapman had a very underrated drive in 9th place. Great to see that result from him. And Ewan Bramer as well. Didn't see much of him, but the Dutchman finding himself with a big top 10 finish for his championship efforts, Joey.
Roni Mentanyami finishing in 11th place, and then a couple of nice drives. Adam McNally up 11 positions to finish 12th. Adam Delmont also up 11 positions to finish in 13th place. Nuno Ferrara here in 14th. Tiro Tilas in 15th place. Jordan and Svetanov, who we saw have a couple of issues on the racetrack, finishes in 16th. David Morales 17th. Rodrigo Emmerich in 18th. Jaime Florentino in 19th. Also a really good drive from Jaime there, up 12 positions, and another one, Martin Sampson, up 18 spots to finish 20th.
But not getting the hard charger award. Miles Owens would finish with a damaged car in 21st, Patrick Cantrell 22nd. That would go to Ari Haro, who's 19 positions gained in the race, 42nd to 23rd, is the biggest mover and shaker in this field. Pieter Goossens then just behind would be 24th, with Luis Suarez and Stefan Alderding then 25th and 26th. Riyad Yasmin then for Lebanon would finish 27th, with Roberto Bruno getting some valuable points from the outside looking in. He'll move into the top 40 with this result tonight in 28th position. Albert Palahi would be 29th, as Eugenio Pulici would round out the top 30.
Impressive stuff that we have all these cars still on the lead lap. Charles Kellyman in 31st, Joel Singleton in 32nd, Tom Daly finishing in 33rd, Sander Vara in 34th, Rene Zagular in 35th place. A couple more here. Cali Cavisto and Edward Grobe still on the lead lap here. The first car 1 lap down is going to be Lawrence Sebastian. Michael Elliott's going to finish in 39th. And then, unfortunately, the rest here on the screen, 40th on down of Trevor Roy, Oscar Pujadas, and Enzo Sampaio. They did not finish today's race.
And those drivers 18th and 19th won't be happy at the fact that they have not been able to find finishes out there today, but some drivers have, and we'll get the opportunity to talk to them. Jason Cooper here with us right now from 5-Star Motorsports. Jason, up in the front group, top 3. They battled behind. They gave you the opportunity to go out there and race. What was the thought process when you saw the slowdown penalty in front of you from Jaume Dalmas's?
Well, I didn't actually know he had to slow down, but if that's what it was, he ran a little bit wide, and I just showed my nose. I thought he kind of let me through, but yeah, if he had a slow down, that would explain that a bit more. But yeah, it's tough pace to keep up with him, and yeah, I think Fernando had a bit more pace on me as well. I was really struggling to keep with their pace.
Well, the pace is absolutely frantic, and quite rightly it should be. Everyone's trying to stake a claim for pole position over at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. There's still 2 races between that moment in time in December and where we are right now. So for you, having missed that one race last 2 months ago, putting yourself in this position now that you've got your 7 races in the bank, how much are you looking to go all out for the final 2 rounds of the season?
Yeah. So obviously, I think I've won one round, but I kind of got gifted that one. So I think I'd like to win one on merit. I think so. That's the aim.
Well, the aim's to win one on merit. The pace is certainly showing that there is the ability to do that. And for you and 5-Star Motorsport, we were talking, I believe it was the very opening rounds, the opening couple of rounds, that you didn't really see 5-Star Motorsport going beyond maybe the end of the iRacing season that went along in the spring. We're now here in the autumn and you're still here with 5-Star Motorsport. So what sort of has been the development with the team, and how crucial has it been to have the likes of Lars Fischer along with you and Chris Knox at points?
Yeah, and Iran C as well. It's good to have some guys to practice with, but yeah, the team isn't really active as much. It's just a couple of guys who come together to have a bit of fun to do this.
Well, you're definitely having a lot of fun. You're right up there at the pointy end. It's second position. The floor is yours. Anybody you'd like to thank, Jason?
Obviously, you guys for obviously setting up the league and doing all the broadcasts and stuff. Enjoy watching that back each week, and obviously it wouldn't be anything without all the guys that turn out to race each week. So yeah, thank you to you all for making it what it is.
Well, the pleasure is ours. Jason Cooper joins us then from 5-Star Motorsport and gets a second place finish overall. A little bit further down the order, it was 12th position for Adam McNally. Walking down the pit lane to get a chat with him is Joey Atterbury.
Yeah, Adam McNally, like Jake was saying, finishing 12th, but up 11 positions. It looks pretty good from here. How did you feel today's race went for you?
Great, to be fair, considering the pace I had around here. It's not a track I really particularly like. I mean, I had no pace whatsoever, to be fair. 1.2 off pole, 1.3 maybe. And I think I made up 10 places on that one, to be fair, so all in all, a good session, good points, I suppose.
I went back and looked at that lap 1 for you. We're queuing up the replay right now. And are you prepared for that? Is that something that you maybe mentally get ready for when you start these races?
Well, don't mentally prepare for them, but I've been in enough races where it's happened, so it just suddenly becomes instinct, I think. But to be fair, I could have maybe went a little bit faster around turn 2 in the right-hander, but I was just a bit cautious with a few cars going off. I didn't want the car coming back over and collecting us and then the race. So, like I said, all in all, made up 10 places lap 1. Can't complain at that.
And then it seemed like you continued to work your way forward. You had some good battles with Roni Mantanyaimi out there. Also saw you tossing it up with Svetanov. But you continued to work your way forward. How does it feel going in and really ending this one on a good, positive note?
Great. Like I said, not a track I particularly liked. Had really no pace whatsoever. I mean, qualifying, that was my fastest pace I had. And then come to the race, I just seemed to have a bit more. And like I said, happy days.
Well, Adam, it sounds like you're very satisfied with the performance today. Congrats on that 12th place. Anybody that you want to thank?
Just you guys for doing the broadcast. Everyone that turns up and does the racing, because it makes it great to watch back on the broadcast. And yeah, that's it.
Well, that was Adam McNally driving for Next Gen Racing, finishing 12th today at Rudskogen.
A very good drive up through the field from the Toonside boy, the man from Newcastle upon Tyne over in England. But a massive thanks has to go to everyone who has been working on this show today, from Joey, from Ryan, and from Dougie. This will bring a curtain to a close for action here today. You can catch all of us on the social media platforms that you've got. If you haven't already on YouTube or Twitch, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, you can do whatever, follow, whatever gets it done. We're on Facebook, we're on X, I suppose it is now, as well as our Discord channel and our Instagram. You can always keep an eye out on what's going on at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. Keep yourself on with everything going. This is where we are 1 month from now. This is going to be Summit Point Raceway, a track that every single driver up and down should know like the back of their hand. It has been in iRacing for forever and a day, and it's October 29th where you want to get yourself clawed up and tuned in for that. And you can do that at 9 p.m. GMT for that, 5 p.m. Eastern on that 29th of October. All of our other broadcasts are going to be flying across your screen, making sure that you don't miss a moment of action when it comes to the Global Sim Racing Channel. But on a day when someone knew that he needed to make a statement, when you've had your two best drivers, arguably, find themselves go off to different places, one to Simify, one over to Wave Italy, you have to make a statement that you're still there and the team's still strong. Fernando Antoli did that absolutely fantastically. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you at Summit Point.